India is not escalating, it is merely reacting. If Pakistan chooses to stop its unnecessary provocations, India will not act.
Are India and Pakistan on the brink of all-out war?
I certainly hope not. Certainly India has no interest in that whatsoever. All India wanted to do was to make it very clear that people from Pakistan can't just come across the border, kill innocent civilians who are just enjoying a tourist holiday and walk back across without having to pay a price for it. So all India did was react in self-defense to a terrorist outrage. And India did so in an extremely careful and calibrated manner, making sure they struck only known terrorist bases and headquarters, did so only at night when there were likely to be no civilians wandering around the streets, and did so while very carefully avoiding striking any government or military installations in Pakistan, very clearly signaling that this was not the first salvo in a protracted war, but rather a one-off reprisal for a terrorist attack. Sadly, Pakistan chose to overreact. There were severe artillery barrages across the line of control, killing 19 Indian civilians and hospitalizing 59 people with grave injuries. India only retaliated also in kind with artillery shells. But then when Pakistan decided to target Indian military installations by sending drones and missiles across, they were stopped and intercepted by Indian air defense, and India in retaliation attacked Pakistani air defense.
Can we really say they've been precise and restrained?
These are extremely well-known terror bases, the headquarters of the Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur and the headquarters of the Lashkar-e-Taiba in Muridke. These are not innocent places. If there were sadly any civilians staying there, there were families of terrorist leaders or those training to be terrorists. I'm really sorry to say this because we have absolutely no interest in behaving like terrorists and killing civilians. There is no question in my mind that India would have been very happy to merely dismantle the terrorist infrastructure rather than even take a single human life. But the fact is that these are places known and listed not just by Indian authorities, but by the international intelligence community. The agencies concerned are proscribed on the sanctions list of the United Nations Sanctions Committee. These are, unfortunately, places where terrorists are trained, financed, equipped, and dispatched to kill innocent civilians in India. That's what India was reacting to.
What's the evidence, sir?
Pakistan is a master of denial. They denied having anything to do with the Mumbai attacks that killed 170 people on 26/11/2008 until one of the terrorists was caught alive and the Pakistanis had to admit that he and everything he said came from them. They deny even knowing where Osama bin Laden was until he was found in a military encampment not far from a Pakistani army base inside Pakistan. This is the Pakistani route. It's constantly show us the evidence. There is enough circumstantial evidence and there are intelligence intercepts on the basis of which India is acting. And India has absolutely no other reason to do this. India is a status quo power. It wants nothing that Pakistan has. It is focused on growing its economy, improving its high technology, providing a future for its young people. It is entirely happy to be left alone by Pakistan, and it'll leave Pakistan alone. Terrorism is not the answer. Killing innocent civilians will invite reprisals, and we're scaling up the reprisals with each outrage. In 2008, after Mumbai, India tried diplomacy, tried grey-listing Pakistan, tried blacklisting the agencies concerned in the Sanctions Committee. Some years later, when there was an attack in Pathankot, the Prime Minister even invited the Pakistani intelligence to join the investigation of the attack. They came and they went back to Pakistan and said, oh, the Indians did it to themselves. That was the last straw. The next terrorist attack, India sent a squad across to attack the very base from which the attack had come.
Okay.
The next terrorist attack in Pulwama, India did an airstrike, just one. The next terrorist attack, this time in Pahalgam in Kashmir, India hit 9. How much longer do the Pakistanis want to play this game? India is prepared to play it. But India is much happier to be left alone. And that's what we will urge the Pakistanis to do.
Up until this point, has there been any nuclear saber rattling, I should say, on either side.
India has a declared, published, and long established policy of no first use of nuclear weapons. So India would never rattle any sabers of a nuclear kind because that is the Indian policy. Pakistan, on the other hand, does not have such a policy and has implied that it would be willing to use nuclear weapons. So again, the ball is in Pakistan's court. You do understand that equivalence between the two countries on any of these grounds is completely false. You have a terrorist providing state and you have a terrorist victim state.